I'm a fourth generation farmer, and my wife and I, we just started our own farming business, kind of took over from my dad and stepmom about 3 years ago. And in that time, we've made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of bad luck, and now we've found ourselves in quite a bit of business debt that we're working our way out of. We've only recently stumbled upon your resources, which have been incredibly helpful. But one of the things that we're trying to do is we're actually selling our home to downsize, to live a little more modestly. And my question is, should we consider taking the proceeds from that home and putting them back into the business and renting for a time? Or should we purchase a smaller, more modest home and just stay the course with the process in the business and get out of debt?
How much are the proceeds?
About $100,000.
Okay. All right. And how expensive is the house?
We have it listed for $585.
Okay.
And we feel like that's a pretty fair price right now.
And how much business debt? How much debt do you have, and how much of it's business debt?
Well, other than the house on the personal side, we have like just a few grand worth of debt that we're debt snowballing, a medical bill and a $4,000 car payment.
Right. How much on the farm debt?
About $700,000.
Okay. And what was that for?
So about $550,000 of it is a line of credit, which part of that is getting pulled into a term loan, and then the rest of it will remain as a line of credit. And then I've got a couple of credit cards, one for an equipment, one for a business credit card, and some couple of tractors that we're still paying off.
Okay. What was the line of credit used for?
Used for everything from, just general business expenses, all kinds of fertilizer, seed, payroll. We came into this thing with
So you lost $550,000 on this business since you started running it?
Yeah. And part of that was, actually to buy the home that we're in now. And then we took the proceeds from our other home, which was not exactly how much that we had put into this home, but we sold a home, put that money back into the business, which was probably net 50 to 70 grand of that total debt was probably in our home purchase.
So are you still losing money on the farm?
No. This year we finally feel like I've got my head above water here and we're making progress. So this year we'll be profitable. Last year going into the season, I had $20,000 to work with. And, after several 100-hour work weeks and, throwing everything we can at this thing, we made it through our main growing season. And this year I'm projecting to have anywhere between 150 and 200,000 to work with going into next season. So, bit of a different story than last year.
What are you growing?
Wheat is probably our main commodity.
And how many acres?
Cotton. Total, we do about 850 acres, so we're pretty small potatoes for our area.
Are you owning all of that or leasing some of it?
No, I don't own any ground. It's all leased,
none of this
portion.
Okay, so this is all business losses and tractors.
Correct.
$700,000 worth, and a little bit of a screw up on the house deal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Why did it lose so much money in the first year? I mean, you're harvesting wheat. Why do you lose money on that?
I didn't know what I was doing, is the long and short of it.
Well, I mean, the crop didn't come in?
Yeah. Basically, the first year, I kind of underestimated how hot things would get. And,
so your yield per acre for the first couple of years sucked?
Exactly.
Okay.
The first year, the yields were horrible across the board. The second year, I kind of figured out what I was doing with my wheat crop, my cotton, and my other seed crops I do. That was a different story. And this year, I feel like I'm finally putting it all together. So it's basically been a $700,000 life lesson that I've learned the last few years. But
and you're a fourth generation farmer.
Yes, sir.
Wow. but something changed that much when you went into business that you didn't know how to grow the wheat. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I took over the business from my dad, who had not been really involved in the day-to-day for several years. I kind of stepped away for a while and then came back and quickly realized that it wasn't going to work because I was managing this company as well as another company. But I mean, I can drive a tractor better than anybody in this county, but I was never really trained on how to run a business, how to call shots, how to run irrigation
or how to plant
none
wheat.
of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I could plant it, but I couldn't figure out how to water it apparently because it all burnt up. But
okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Okay, so because all of that matters in the story, it's not just to shame you for how you got here, but if we want to get out of how we got here has to stop, and that's what I'm trying to make sure I get to the bottom of. So it sounds like you've turned the corner. I'm believing you, and so what's it take for your family to live?
Right now, it takes about $8,000 a month, and half of that is my mortgage, which is why we're selling the house.
Okay. All right. So if you're renting something cheap till you get this debt mess cleaned up, what does it take your family to live a month?
So the cheapest that I've been able to find for a house here in our area anything that's not like in a horrible part of town, we're still looking at like $2,000 a month. Like there's not many options. And so
$6,000 a month is what it takes. $72,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay. And everything above that you can throw back into the business.
Correct.
And you made 150, or you think you're going to make 150 to 200.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So that means we're going to have somewhere around 75 to 100 and a quarter to throw at this debt this year.
Well, the problem is that just because agriculture is such a seasonal deal, like I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to be able to, of what I make this year. I'm going to have some kind of a nest egg go. I mean, I can put it all down on my line of credit, but then I won't get a major payday until next June when we harvest our wheat. So part of that is reserving some for just business expenses for 4, 5, 6 months. So it's not as if I can just write a big check and pay down debt and leave myself with nothing because it's not. Really
no, but I'm saying over the course of 12 months, you're going to make a profit of $150,000 to $200,000. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And over the course of 12, we have to manage cash flow, but over the course of 12 months, of that $150,000 to $200,000, you need $70,000 to live on.
That would be above and beyond my current living expenses. That'd be with that $150,000. So it would be $150,000 plus if I'm all right now. I'm taking home.
Okay, honey, that's not profit then, because before you take it home, it has to be profit. So the business doesn't get to pay your living expenses; those aren't deductible. That's not a business expense.
Right.
So are you making Are you making 150 plus 72, or are you making 150 minus 72?
It would be 150 plus 96, actually, is my current.
Yeah, your current burn rate, but you're changing that because you're going to rent.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Until we get this dadgum mess cleaned up. Okay. So you have a whole 150 profit after all business expenses and personal expenses.
Yes.
All right. And you got 100,000 coming out of the sale of the house.
Yes, sir.
So that's 250 towards your 700. It's not all at once, but it's going to be over the course of 12 months. That's how it's going to shake out. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you cut up those business credit cards. You never use them again. You pay off the tractors and you pay off the credit cards. Then all you got left is the line of credit. Mm-hmm. And you start to pay it down. And every year you pay it down a little bit more and you keep living on nothing. And you keep renting. And in about 3 years, if you keep running the same level of profits, you should be debt free.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do that right?
Yeah.
I think I did. And then as soon as you're debt free, you start using that money to pile up cash to buy a house with. So you're renting for 3 years while you get your mess cleaned up that you made over the last 2 years. And hopefully we got a bumper crop keeps coming in for the next 3, and you keep making about the same or even more. Maybe you even get better at this, and maybe you make even more, right?
Yeah.
But next time you get ready to buy a tractor, don't.
No, we haven't been buying any new equipment. I've got 2.
But I mean, next time you get ready to buy a tractor, don't, unless you've got the money. Stop it. Because as you have figured out, farming is a business, and you don't get an exception to the rules of business just because you're a farmer. In America, we love our farmers, and we respect you for the hard work you do. But you don't get an exemption from math because you're a romantic farmer. And, I mean, your comrades out there drive me nuts because they're like, Dave Ramsey doesn't understand farming. Farming's a freaking business. Dave Ramsey understands business. And Dave Ramsey understands that when you finance $200,000, $800,000 combines, it's very difficult to freaking stay open in any business. Well, that's the way it is in farming. No, it's not. It's the way you chose for it to be. So you got to stop that, and you got to break that cycle. Because if you'll run this thing debt-free, dude, you can put $250,000 a year in your freaking pocket. 4, 5, 6 years from now, you're going to be sitting pretty. You're going to be making so stinking much money. It's going to be unbelievable. And then you can cash flow equipment, good equipment. And that's what we've done here. The studio that I'm broadcasting from has 27 miles of wire in it. It cost over $1 million to produce this one room. Okay? And so, but we didn't start with a studio that did that. That was after we had made some freaking money. We started with a borrowed studio at the local radio station. And until we had the dadgum money to buy a little mixer board and a couple of microphones, and then we built our first little studio, which was horrendous. And then we made a little money, and we built another studio and made a little money, and this is my 7th one in 35 years I've sat in, and it's the most glorious of all, by far. But it's cost a lot of dadgum money, you know? But I didn't start with that and go, well, to be in broadcasting, you have to have $1 million. No, you don't. You use somebody else's. And you put it in a closet. Until then, you sit in a closet. I sat in a closet. That was the first studio. We cut a hole in the wall, and I sat in the closet. And the booth was through the hole in the wall. So this is how you guys do it. So that's the situation you're in. So you're going to sacrifice like crud to clean up for the debt that you financed because you had to learn some lessons the hard way. And I'm sorry you had that, but I'm excited for where you're going to be in 5 years. You're going to be able to pay cash for nice equipment and still make serious profit. And then increase your productivity and make even more profit. And it's going to get better and better and better and better if you stick with these principles. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving to the rental. I'm throwing $100K down on this thing, clean up those credit cards, those tractor loans, and I'm going to cash flow that other $150 to $200 out over the following 12 months while I run the business. And you got to keep the cash flowing, and you got to manage cash to get there. But the net of it is you should clear another $150 to $200 to put on this, and that'll clear up every single thing and really take a good bite down into the line of credit, and you should be there. That's where you're going to be. So, man, you're a hard-working dude. I'm proud of you, and I sure hope this works for you because you deserve it. You're a good man. Keep it up.